No, it is not the whole screen. वो तुम्हारा टूल बार वगैरह सब दिख रहा है.
Tool bar and all, everything has been shown, Jyoti.
Yeah, 1 minute. Yeah.
Make it, yes.
So
Now?
Yes.
It's okay now, Jyoti.
Okay.
Fine, fine.
Thank
are
you.
you ready, Jyotimani ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let me start then.
संजय सर,
हाँ सर बोलिए.
एक 5 मिनट रुक जाओ ना सर, लोग ज्वाइन हो रहे हैं.
नहीं हो जाएंगे ना सर ज्वाइन.
सर हो रहा है,
बीच में हो जाते ज्वाइन.
अलाउ कर रही हूँ.
हाँ.
Deepika ma'am, should I start now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Effective communication.
Okay, good evening everybody. This is the English Forum Nagpur and
सर आप म्यूट हो गए हैं.
okay, good evening everyone. This is English Forum Nagpur. We are bringing up yet another webinar on effective communication skills to you. This subject is going to be dealt with Dr. Jyotimani Rock, and she is with us today. And now to start with, may I request Deepika Gode madam to take it further.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So today we have yet another member.
You drop everywhere.
Yet another member of our forum.
Bring your small chair. I'll keep it on the big chair.
Who is speaking, sir?
चलो. अभी तो मैं मीटिंग में हूँ. Sorry. मैं मीटिंग में हूँ.
Have you muted all, sir? It's a kind request to all the members to please mute themselves.
Okay?
Okay, ready?
Yes.
So today we have one more member of our forum, Dr. Jyotimani Rock, who is going to tell us, give us information about effective communication skills. And for her introduction, I invite Dr. Shubhangi. Please, Shubhangi, do the honors.
Shubhangi ma'am, please unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Deepika. Good evening, one and all. As you are all aware, since last 3 months, we, the English Forum, is with a series of webinar panel discussions with the education department dignitaries and the administrators from various institutions. Every teacher needs to be skilled in effective communication and should have an urge for the continuous professional development. Effective communication, yet simple, is an art. Can help us to make our learners understand and convince in a better way. Talking about Dr. Jyotimani, she is a confident of her skills, diligence, proactiveness, emphatic, and resourcefulness. Before we start an exciting and learning ride with Dr. Jyotimani, let me tell she is my guide, my mentor for the first phase of Alice. I used to admire her while cascading the sessions for Alice, English Language Initiative for Secondary Schools, British Council. I have learned so many things from her. I used to tell her that after Dr. Shrikant Jiskar, we may see your name floating in the Limca Book of Records for acquiring so many degrees from various fields. She too hoped that she and me work together for projects by Government of Maharashtra, and her wish came true also. Let us have her brief introduction. Of course, if I start with her introduction, it will take ample time and we have to keep a watch on the watch. She is a meritorious student throughout her career. She has left no stone unturned, either it be education, music, or sport. Sky is the limit for her. Dr. Jyotimani Rock is PhD in education. She is a postgraduate in 10 subjects, including English. She has done LLM, Environment and Legal Order, and Student Merit. She is Sangeet Visharad in vocal classical music, also Sangeet Visharad in sitar. Passed her drawing examinations too. Presently pursuing post-graduation in political science and linguistics. Done certificate course in French, honored with gold medal for best essay in intervarsity world politics, received first prize in painting during the Platinum Jubilee year of Rashtrasanta Tukadoji Maharaj Nagpur University. A member of Board of Studies Maharashtra State, writer for Bharati. She has presented a lot of education papers, LTI, British Council, Shikshan Sankraman, monthly magazine for teachers. Her hobbies are reading, writing, teaching, painting, gardening, music, and cooking. She is also a sportsman and represented Women's National Cricket Championship. She sent me various species from her garden daily, whose names also I hardly know, on WhatsApp, which she has planted, wishing me a gallant, a lemony, and a perfect good morning. She's been a resource person for Ellis and expert for chess project. She is presently working in Anath High School since 2003, formerly taught in many schools. Adding a gem in her crown, she has recently launched her medal book titled Education, the Sound of the Soul. The book is potpourri of educational articles, enriching essays, and reflective writings. I welcome on board a renowned speaker, also our active English Forum member, Dr. Jyotimani Rock, a brilliant personality, an all-rounder personality. I also welcome the executive body and all the participants. Today, through her topic, effective communication skills, she is going to update us with a compendium of different aspects of communication skills and enhance our communications in yet simple but effective art. So let's welcome Dr. Jyotimani Rock. The stage is all yours, Jyoti. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shubhangi ma'am, for the lovely introduction. A very hearty good evening to each and everyone present here this evening. At the outset, I would like to thank the dignitaries of English Teachers Forum, Ajay sir, Ade sir, and my dear friend Deepika Gode ma'am for having invited me here this evening. Although I am a family member of our forum, I deem it my privilege to be addressing you this beautiful evening. Thanks a lot, Shubhangi ma'am, for the introduction. There's a slight error in the introduction. I will do that. I'll just correct it. I am a postgraduate in 9 subjects. I've completed my political science and the linguistics that you said you're pursuing. I'm pursuing my 10th and 11th PG, and very soon I'll be completing it. And maybe in the next webinar, I'll let you know about that.
Okay.
Okay.
I could read it through your CV. That's all.
Yes.
Anyways,
done. Yeah. Yes, I'm a doctorate in education, MA English, MA History, Political Science, MA Sociology, MA Psychology, MA Linguistics, MA Ecology Environment, MEd, LLM, BCom, and of course PGD, SLM, and double graduate. That's your speaker and her short educational qualifications. I firmly believe that a good teacher has to be a good learner, and you will all be very happy to know that the person speaking in front of you today is a live example of the same. I'm a learner as well as a teacher. Throughout, I have been a learner and a teacher. This session, I have divided it into 6 sections. We shall be dealing with communication, its definition, meaning and importance in the first session. And the second section will be how to enhance communication skills. Then we will deal with ways of communication. Then we will deal with barriers to effective communication. Then we will see communication skills for teachers. Why is it important for teachers? And why is communication skill important for students? Throughout my session this evening, you will find that my session is replete with anecdotes and quotes by eminent personalities from whom we can learn a lot. That's my way, that's my style of learning. I learn a lot from them, and I thought maybe I'll share it with you all. Even when you go through my maiden book, Education, the Sound of the Soul, just now Shubhangi ma'am said, even there you will find my essays and my articles. They are replete with anecdotes and quotes. These will be like popping up in between, and these will be like food for thought for all of us. So I start with George Bernard Shaw. He says, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. In the first section, we will see about the definition, the importance, the elements of communication, by what forms communication happens, and why communication does not happen. What are the barriers? What are the obstacles for communication? Let us see the meaning of communication first. The term communication. And one more thing, all of you have to pay attention from the first slide till the last, because towards the end, I have a surprise for you. There'll be a sort of a quiz, and whoever answers the questions, we are going to clap for that person, the first 2 names. So pay attention, all of you. The term communication is derived from a Latin term communicare, which means to share. Communication is sending or receiving ideas, thoughts, or feelings from one person to one or more persons in such a way that the person receiving it understands it in the same way the sender wants him or her to understand. See, I will just give you a small example of communication. For example, supposing you have just finished taking up the first 10th standard higher English, where the mind is without fear. Now you've taught the children the poem. You even taught them how to write the appreciation, the points that they need to keep in mind, the way they have to write it in the form of a paragraph, everything. After that, before leaving the class, when you tell them that students, you have to write the appreciation and bring it tomorrow in your rough notebooks. We will be discussing it, and then when the students answer you back by saying, yes, ma'am, we are going to write it and come. We have followed what you have said. When they say yes, that is when the process of communication gets complete. All right. So till you get the feedback, till you get the response from the students or from the receiver, we cannot say that the process of communication is complete. This is also called as people's skill or soft skills, ranked in a survey as the most important requirement for successful job performance. If you want to have a good job, the first ladder, like of course, after having secured your degree and your educational qualifications, you have to appear for the written test, and then the interview. There you have to, display your communication skills. So let us go to the next slide now. Let us see. One second. The process of communication. In the process of communication, we have 5 elements. We have the sender, the message, the channel through which the communication is being done, the receiver, and the feedback. Now, who is the sender? The sender is the person who initiates the process of communication or broadcasts the message. The message, what is the message? Specific set of words or gestures and images that the sender uses to convey what he or she wants to say. Okay, it's specific set of words or instructions or whatever. The channel is through which medium you convey that. It can be face to face, it can be through emails, through letters, through gestures. Okay, we are going to see each and everything in detail a little later. And the receiver is the audience or the person to whom you are sending your message. And when the receiver gives his response, okay, to the sender back, that is called as the feedback. And only when the receiver sends his feedback to the sender can we say that the process of communication is complete. Let us see the cycle, the communication cycle now. In the communication cycle, the sender, he encodes a message. The message can be sent through various channels that I just said. It can be face-to-face, it can be through video, telephone, speech, voicemail. Nowadays, we are doing online teaching, everybody of us, through email, through letters, bulletins, media, whatever. And the message is sent to whom? To the receiver. What does the receiver do? He decodes the message, and then he again encodes the message and sends it back to the sender, sends his response back to the sender, which is called as the feedback. And that is the most important part in a cycle of communication. Another food for thought, communication is the core of leadership. Clear messages that inspire people to act. Now let us see the principles of communication. The first and foremost and very important principle is listening, not hearing. Now let us see the difference between listening and hearing. Listening basically is a physiological as well as a psychological process. It involves your ears as well as your concentration, your attention, okay? And then it leads you to action. So I hope the subtle meaning between listening and hearing is clear. And then the second principle is probing. When you encourage, when you inquire closely into something, okay? When you search, when you research. Observing is like a non-verbal thing. Non-verbal, you know, even by non-verbal actions, there are a lot of communication which takes place. By non-verbal, I mean when we notice or view or perceive something and register it as being significant, okay, when we pay careful attention in detail. Now again, observing is different from seeing. You see with your eyes. You may see a lot of things, but you may not observe. For observing, just like hearing and listening, observing also requires attention. When you see closely, when you see minutely, okay, that is called as observing. And the informing, which involves the 4 C's, that is, it should be clear, your message, it should be correct, it should be concise and complete. This is a very interesting thing that I came across, that as far as listening skills is concerned, 82% of people prefer to talk to great listeners, not to great speakers. You may be a very great speaker, but people love to talk to those people who prefer to listen to them, you know. Communication is the solvent of all problems and is the foundation for personal development. Now let us see the concept of lag time. What is lag time? The gap between the speed of talking and the speed of listening is called as the lag time. Most individuals, they speak at the rate of 100 to 150 words a minute, while they listen at the rate of 450 to 500 words a minute. Now, what do we do with this lag time, or what should we do? this lag time is to be used instead of thinking about what to reply to the person. Most of the time we do that. When the person starts talking, we want to ready ourselves and we want to give them a reply as soon as they finish talking. And the other portion or we don't even listen till the person has finished talking. Instead of so, what should we do? Instead of thinking about what to reply to the person, or worse still, allowing your mind to wander on unrelated subjects, lag time is to be used to listen to the words being used. Okay, observe the body language of the speaker. Make notes of the repetition of thoughts and words. If the speaker is trying to repeat a few things, that means they are important. So take down notes, listen to the words the speaker is speaking, okay, and see the body language and use the lag time like this, rather than having, you know, judgments in your minds and trying to keep yourself ready with replies. All right. The most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said. Peter Drucker has said that. Now I have two acronyms for you to remember. Okay. Remember the acronym KISS and ABC. Remember to keep your communication or your talk as keep it short and sweet. KISS. Keep it short and sweet. And ABC. Your communication should be accurate, brevity, okay, to the point, clarity. It should be very, very clear. So remember these two acronyms, KISS, KISS, that is keep it short and sweet, and ABC, that is accuracy, brevity, and clarity. Now let us see the goals of communication. What is the goal? First of all, there should be a change in the behavior. The other person should get into action, whatever you're saying. Okay, that should be done. Ensure understanding takes place. Persuade the person to do whatever you are wanting the person to do. Give and get information. These are the goals of communication. Half the world is composed of people who have something to say and can't, and the other half who have nothing to say and keep on saying, is what Robert Frost has to tell us. You know, these are small like anecdotes, but they have deep meaning. So I thought I should include that. Many can argue, not many converse. Now let us see the process of communication. How does the process of communication happen, or what are the elements? Since this is what we are going to talk about, okay, this is going to reinforce your knowledge. The sender, what does the sender do? He formulates the knowledge in the form of a language and puts it in a proper tone, and through his personality, he sends a message. How should the message be? It should not be ambiguous. That means there should not be many meanings coming out from that, whatever you're saying. It should be of the interest of the listeners or the learners. Then that it should be clear. It should not create any confusion, and it should be objective. The channel can be any channels that we just saw, which can be face to face. It can be like through verbal, non-verbal, okay, channels, and it should be easily accessible, and the receiver should be able to adapt it. Now, what does the receiver do? He decodes the message. He requires his ears for that to listen to it. And then what does he do? He sends a feedback to the sender, okay, on the basis of his understanding. This is a very interesting thing that I found, that we may feel that whatever we speak, only when we speak communication happens, but body language communication happens 55% with body language, tone of the voice with 38%, and your words only 7%. So now what is body language? It is a non-verbal communication in which your physical behavior as opposed to words, okay, are used to express or convey information. It can be your facial expression, it can be your body postures, your gestures, the way you're talking, the way you stand, the way you use your postures, your eye contact, your touch, and the space that you have in the class or on the stage. All this comprises of body language, and that amounts to 55% as far as when communication happens. And tone of the voice, your voice, it comprises of 38% and words 7%. So be careful of your non-verbal or body language. We never listen when we are eager to speak. Now we come to the second section, that is how to enhance communication skills. Now, how do we enhance our communication skills? The foremost thing is by listening. We should all be ready to listen to the person attentively, listen to the person with 100% attention. This is the first and the basic thing. Okay. Many times it happens that we don't pay attention to our students. You know, like in a class setup, we just pretend that we are listening. Okay, we just try to snub the child, but then the children also get they realize that this teacher is just trying to shun me off, not trying to listen to my problem. So I think I'm sure that I know that it's very challenging to listen to 70 children in the class or 65 children, but then we should listen. We should have that sense to listen to the children. Then non-verbal communication, the way we speak to our children. Okay, many times we are so worked up, we are so much like under stress that we don't pay attention, or the amount of attention that we should pay. So non-verbal communication is important. Then we should be very clear in our communication, concise, to the point. We should be friendly. Friendliness is another way we can enhance our communication skills. Confidence, everybody should be confident. Empathy, empathy is when we try to place ourselves in the other person's shoe and place and feel the other person's pain, what the person is going through. Okay. Open-mindedness, respect everybody. We as teachers especially must respect our students and not just take them for granted. And feedback, children appreciate the feedback that we give them. We must give them an honest, and they can understand that whether this teacher is giving us an honest feedback or just telling us for the sake of she wants us to just say something and let us go. So these are ways to enhance communication skills. Think like a wise man, but communicate in the language of the people, is what William Butler Yeats tells us. Think like a wise man, but communicate in the language of the people. Now, let us come to the third section, that is ways of communication. The first one, spoken or verbal communication. That includes face-to-face communication, then telephone, radio, television, and other media. Then in the non-verbal, we have already touched that, like covering body language, gestures, how we dress or act, where we stand, even our scent, they say, is a non-verbal communication ways. There are many subtle ways that we can communicate, perhaps even unintentionally, with others. For example, the tone of voice can give clues to our mood. Sometimes when you're very stressed or angry, you just say okay to the students, and that tone, it's so like harsh, and then the students are put off. Or emotional state. Okay, then while hand signals or gestures can add to spoken message. The way you use your gestures, non-verbal communication. Then written communication includes by way of letters, emails, social media, magazines, internet, and other media. So whichever ways appropriate, we have to use it that way. Like supposing you have to communicate with it's an official thing, you have to with your higher authorities, then naturally you use your letters, emails. Okay, with your friends you can catch up with them through social media, whatever. Then we have visualizations, that can be through graphs, charts, maps, logos, and other visualizations. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Okay, this is what Epictetus has to tell us. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. But do we do that? Is a question to question ourselves. Now, what is communication gap? How to avoid communication gap? Now, what is communication gap? Communication gap is when the meaning intended by the speaker or the sender of the message is not what is understood by the recipient. It in another way. Okay, then that is called as communication gap. All right. You have asked the students to write the appreciation, but they understood at something else. They thought that this is what you have taught them, and fine. They did not even bother to write it and bring. So that was a communication gap. Communication gap is when the meaning intended by the speaker or the sender is not what is understood by the recipient. So communication gap, how can you avoid it? Again, first of all, by being focused. By being focused means by paying 100% attention towards the speaker. Whatever the speaker is saying, you have to pay attention. Framing the message. Whatever the message is there, you frame it up in your mind. Using appropriate volume. Avoiding assumptions. This is, I think, very, very important. Many times what happens, we assume things. For example, like even in a workplace, it happens when we enter the workplace and you must have wished your colleague or your friend, and that friend of yours may be in another world, or maybe like she is thinking something else, and you start assuming that she has become very proud nowadays, she doesn't listen to me, she doesn't talk to me, she didn't even acknowledge. We start assuming things, and that is the worst thing as far as communication is concerned. Don't assume, avoid assumptions. Check for comprehension. Check whether your message, whatever you have tried to convey, has been comprehended or not, in the correct spirit, right spirit or not. Then use the right medium. By using the right medium, I mean to say that supposing you have had a kind of a tiff with your colleague who just sits next to you in your staff room. You all share your tiffin, you all talk to each other, but then something happened, and then you all are not in talking terms. So in such a situation, what form of medium will you choose? Will you start writing a letter, or you will WhatsApp? I think that it will be better to talk to that person face to face and sort out the problem. Okay. And or else if it is something to do with your higher authorities, you cannot WhatsApp them. You have to write a formal letter, whatever. So using the right medium is important. Then wrapping it up. By wrapping it up, I mean to say that whatever you want to tell the students or anyone, like for that matter, if you're addressing anybody else, after having said everything, wrap it up. The main points of your talk, okay, highlight that, okay, so that the audience also comes to know that yes, these are the important things that I have to take back home, or I have to keep that in my mind, I have to remember, I have to register. All right. And the situation should be everybody wins. Nobody is a loser or a winner. You win, I win, you're right, I'm right. There should be a win-win situation. All right. This is how we can avoid communication gap. Right to be understood, read to grow. This is what Lawrence Clark Howell tells us. Right to be understood, speak to be heard, read to grow. Now let us see what are the barriers to effective communication. What do you mean by barriers? By barriers, I mean to say the obstacles. Okay? The obstacles. First, the linguistic barrier. We shall be dealing with each and every barrier in details in the coming slides. First of all, we have the linguistic barriers. By linguistic barriers, I mean the language barrier. Then we have psychological barriers. Then we have emotional barriers, physical barriers to communication, cultural barriers of communication, organizational structure barriers, attitude barriers, perception barriers, physiological barriers, and technical and barriers and social religious barriers. Let us see each and every barrier in a little detail now. Under environmental barriers, what do we have? Loud sounds. Okay, if you're wherever you're talking or your school is situated in a place where it's very noisy, that can act as a barrier. Activities of nearby people, then interruptions from others, physical discomfort, these are all environmental barriers. By physiological barriers, I mean like many times, you know, our students have problem. They have this problem of listening, like deafness, many times blindness, then learning disabilities are there, illnesses. We should be aware of those problems. Then language barriers, different language, specific terminology. We will deal with this again a little later in detail. Personal barriers, socioeconomic conditions, values and beliefs, previous experience, not valuing themselves, not believing in their health is important. And then by psychological barriers, I mean stress, frustration, anger, tiredness, distracted, preoccupied. By linguistic barriers, I mean, you know that after within a few kilometers in India, the dialects change. So naturally, like even if you take the language English, it is spoken differently in South India, the same language. English is spoken differently. In West Bengal, they speak the same language, English differently. Okay. And like within a few kilometers itself, when there are changes, so you have to take into mind that dialects or linguistic barriers ought to be there. And different employees have different ways of, you know, like talking, and their linguistic abilities differ. Okay. Then by psychological barriers, I mean, many of them suffer from stage fear. They have a lot of material, they know, but then when they have to speak, they have this fear. So, and then many of them even have speech disorders. Phobia is when they are very scared of a few things, like. Then depression. Then under emotional barriers, we have emotional IQ determines the case of comfort with which people communicate. If you have a good emotional quotient, then you can communicate with people comfortably. Emotionally mature people, okay, for them communication is effortless. They can communicate without any efforts. You should be able to manage your anger, frustration, and even too much of humor can blur effectiveness of communication. Okay, your anger, frustration, and humor, it can affect your effectiveness of communication. Now, what are the physical barriers? We have already touched that: noise, closed doors, faulty equipment used for communication, closed cabins. These are all physical barriers. Under cultural barriers comes the way we dress, the religions we follow, food, drinks, pets, general behavior changes from culture to culture. Then organizational structure, misinformation, then lack of appropriate transparency available to employees, that can be a barrier. Then attitude barriers, many of them are introverts. They don't open up that easily. Okay. Then many people are not very social. At the same time, many people are very social. Okay. Some people are extra clingy. Many people have huge ego. They don't want to take the first step in communicating or whatever. Inconsistent behavior, many times you will see that one person, sometimes he is very friendly and sometimes he like very cold. So inconsistent behavior, anger, social anxiety, all these come under attitude barriers. Then perception barriers, different people perceive the same thing differently. You know, many people, the same thing you will tell people, they will perceive it or understand it differently. So that is a barrier. That is why message must be clear and easy. There should be no room for diversified interpretation. Then under physiological barriers, there are certain disorders or diseases. Other limitations are there: shrillness of voice, dyslexia. Now, technological barriers and socio-religious barriers, you know that technology is developing very fast. It becomes very difficult to keep up with the newest developments. The cost of technology is sometimes high. Like nowadays, all of us are learning, all we teachers especially are into this online teaching, and we want to learn Google Classroom and Google Meet, and how to prepare these PPTs and all that. So everybody of us are trying to keep abreast with technology, keep seeing to the present pandemic. Okay, so that is what is happening. Then the cost of technology, sometimes it's very high, so that becomes like acts as a barrier. Then organizations will not be able to afford a decent technology for the purpose of communication. Then there are socio-religious barriers, like in a patriarchal society, women or transgender may face many difficulties and barriers while communicating. I speak to everyone in the same way, says Albert Einstein, whether he is the garbage man or the president of the university. I really love those quotes. Now, the fifth section, we come to the fifth section, why communication skills are important for teachers. Importance of communication skills for teachers. First of all, for us to become a successful teacher, we need to have this skill of communication. Because we have to talk to so many students every day. We have to come across so many parents, our colleagues. For that, we have to have our communication skills right. Then to help the students achieve academic success, our students, we want to help them to achieve success, to further our own careers in education. If I want to further my career in education, if I want to, for my own CPD, if I want to do something, it will be helpful for me to enable the learning process. You know, like a good teacher, I told you in the beginning itself, is a good learner. To enable our learning process, we need to have this skill of communication, and to enable our own career mobility. Okay, nobody wants to be in the same place. We always want to go up the ladder and improve and our positions. Communication is a skill that you can learn. It's like riding a bicycle or typing. If you're willing to work at it, you can rapidly improve the quality of every part of your life. That means your communication, if your communication skills improve, you can improve in the quality of every part of your life. Now we come to the almost the last section of our session, importance of communication skills for students. Why is it important for us students? Everybody knows that. But then let me just reiterate. For using the correct body language, they should know to use the correct medium at the correct time. For our students to be confident, for them to learn to respect the opinion of others. Like nowadays, you know that if they want to have a job after they are done with their education, they take their degree, they have to go and apply for jobs, or then they have to face the written test, they have to face the interviews, you have the group discussions. So they must know how to respect the opinion of others. They must learn to listen with attention. Then quality of being friendly to others, that is important. They cannot just go and start fighting with the whole world only because they disagree with their opinion. To speak less but effective. They should speak less, but that should be effective. Improvement in the presence of mind and memory enhancement. Getting your first job, I already told you that they have to face interviews, and many of our students are very good in writing, but when you talk to them or just tell them to introduce themselves, like they will not be able to talk. That is what we commonly see when our orals are there. You know what we do? We tell them, come on, we give them a topic, pick up a chair, talk, and then they are not able to talk. And in a way, we are also responsible for that, because throughout the year, what do? Our favorite sentence is keep quiet, students, keep quiet. And then suddenly when the oral exams come, we tell them, come on, talk, open your mouth and talk. So we also are responsible in some way or the other there. Then getting future career progression for them to progress in their future jobs, and then for their personal development. Now, communication is 20% what you know and 80% how you feel about what you know, is what James Rowe has to tell us. Now, effective, there are a few surprising facts about effective communication. Facial expressions matter way more. We may not feel or we may not have paid attention, but then our facial expressions, they matter. Then our thinking and listening doesn't align. The way we think and the listening, that I already told you, it doesn't align many times. It doesn't match. Listening and vision also have conflicts. Your employer loves effective communication. In fact, everybody of us love a person who is a good speaker or who is good at communication. Okay. Words definitely speak louder. Okay. Therefore, always be clear and make sure your communication style isn't impacting anyone negatively. The art of communication is the language of leadership. Now, a few tips for effective communication. This is what Ade sir had told me, that ma'am, do give our everybody a few tips. So first of all, the first tip is be a good listener. By be a good listener, I mean whenever a person is talking, give your 100% to the person. Okay. Then learn the basics of non-verbal communication. We have already done what is non-verbal communication. So you must know the basics of non-verbal communication. Then engage the audience in discussion. Then ask for honest feedback. Then avoid relying on visual aids. Many times what happens, we get so used to the PowerPoints or the visual aids that we use that we don't talk. But we should be able to talk extemporaneously. Okay. Then many times you have to over communicate just to communicate, because if you have told them 100 things, the audience will remember 25%. So if you want them to remember 100%, you have to talk about 150 or 200%. So you have to over communicate to communicate. Then start and end with key points. All right. Then use the PIP approach. PIP is the purpose, okay, importance and purview. First of all, the purpose, then see the importance of it, then purview, the thing that you have to talk on. Then master the art of timing. Okay, nobody has got so much time that he will keep on listening to you. You have to talk within your limits, whatever time has been given to you. Then get comfortable speaking extemporaneously. Then add novelty to improve audience retention. You have to use novel ways so that the attention of the audience is retained. Communication, the human connection, is the key to personal and career success, is what Paul Mayer tells us. What does he tell us? Communication, the human connection, is the key to personal and career success. Now, I want Deepika ma'am's help here. I would, this is like quiz time. I told you in the beginning itself that you have to listen with 100% attention, because two fastest finger first, those who answer the question are going to, their names are going to be called out, and we are going to clap for them. At least I'll clap for them. So are you ready with your, are you ready for the quiz time? I can't hear
I think
anyone.
everyone is ready.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
We are.
Yes.
we all
Okay.
are ready. Yeah.
Okay. Your first question. Your first question is, what does the Latin term communicare mean? I cannot see this, but Deepika ma'am, you have to help me. What does the
Yes,
Latin term communicare mean?
Please write your answers in chat box.
And Deepika ma'am, please help me, because I cannot see
Rita
anybody.
Rita Mahajan communication.
No. That the question is, what does the Latin term communicare mean?
To share.
Correct. Who said that?
Sarika Shivare.
To share. Correct. That is the correct answer. So I'm clapping for Sarika ma'am. Good. And one more person. Two names we are going to call out.
Saili.
So Saili, very good. Now the second question. Are we ready?
Yes.
Name the two acronyms I gave you as rules for communication. Name the two acronyms I gave you as rules for communication.
KISS and ABC.
Who said that?
It's so fast, many are saying.
No, only the first. Fastest finger means
Wait,
the first and the
wait,
second.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
We want the first and the second name so that I'll clap for them and we'll take the names.
Yes, I'll come to it. Wait a minute. First is Snehit Thul, and second is Dr. Shubhra Roy.
Very good. Snehit and Shubhra ma'am, I'm clapping for you all. Okay. KISS stands for keep it short and sweet, and ABC stands for accuracy, brevity, and clarity. Now the questions from the second section. Which is the most important way to enhance communication skill? I repeat, which is the most important way to enhance communication skill? Yes, any answers?
Listening.
Correct.
Or body language is also there.
First is listening.
Okay, Santosh.
And
Sorry.
one more answer, one more person.
Yeah, 1 minute. Angela. Michael.
Correct. Angela and Santosh. Congratulations. Very good. Second. Ready?
Yes.
When can we say that two-way communication or the cycle of communication is complete? When can we say that the two-way communication or the cycle of communication is complete?
Feedback.
Correct. Who said
Urvashi
that?
Mendhe and Saili.
Saili and
Urvashi Mendhe.
Urvashi Mendhe and Saili. Congratulations. That's the correct answer. Feedback. Next. Email is which way of communication? Email comes under which way of communication?
Virtual. Shikha Bhaveshi.
That's wrong.
Written.
Yes, that's right.
She's Shirley.
Shirley, correct. Shirley ma'am.
Yeah.
And second?
And one more. Let me see. I'm not getting the names here.
One more
Shirley
name.
And one more. Saili.
Saili. Okay, Saili ma'am is bagging all
Saili
the
is going to-
prizes, the claps. Very good. So, so it's written. Email comes under the written way of communication. Okay. Next. Gesture is which way of communication? Gesture.
Body language.
Non-verbal.
Correct.
Shashikant Deshpande sir.
Deshpande sir. Very good. And one more.
Let me see. I'm not getting it. They went.
One
up
more
so
person.
fast. What was the answer?
Non-verbal communication.
Non-verbal. No, they formal writing. They are saying.
Urvashi Mendhe is there.
Acha.
Correct. That's right. So very good. Now next question. Phobia comes under which barrier? Phobia comes under which barrier?
Psychological.
Ajay sir. You don't have to say the answer. You're the host. You're the host. You're the host.
Is my mic.
No, you're the host. Phobia comes under which barrier?
Physical.
No. That's wrong.
Psychology.
Yes.
Sunil Bopche. Urvashi Mendhe.
Correct. Psychological barrier. Okay.
Yeah.
That's correct. Urvashi ma'am. And first one was?
The name has again gone up.
Okay. The next one. Noise comes under which barrier? Noise.
Social. Sarika Shivare.
No.
Nitin. Physical.
Correct. Nitin sir is correct. And one more person.
One is BH. The phone model of the phone is there.
Okay. Physical.
And
Physical
there are
barrier.
many more now. Yeah, there
The
are many
physical.
more now.
Yes. Very good. Now I just want you to write in the chat box your one takeaway from today's session or what you like most in today's webinar. Only one point. Your one takeaway from today's session. That this was something that is my takeaway. So we are going to read just first three answers. Your one takeaway from today's session, or what you like most in today's webinar. Just read the first three. Yes. Any answers?
Quotes.
Okay, very good. Who said that?
Shirley and Shaileja Mule.
Shirley ma'am and Shaileja ma'am. Okay, very
Yeah.
good. Any other?
Angelina also said, Sarika Shivhare says listening more and speaking less.
Very good, very good, very good. So that is all I have for you this evening.
Again, someone is saying avoid over communication.
Avoid over communication. Okay. Okay.
Your way of communication. Nilima Jaisinghani is saying your way of communication.
Okay, Nilima ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Teresa is saying engrossing and catchy things from you.
Thank you, Teresa ma'am. Yes.
Good comments.
So communication is at the very core of our society. Communication is at the very core of our society. That's what makes us human. That is what Jane Com has to tell us. That communication is at the very core of our society. That's what makes us human. And that's all I have for you this evening. I hope you enjoyed the session, and I hope you, learned something from this session.
Yes. Thanks a lot, Jyoti. It was a very nice and effective session. Effective communication was there.
Thank you, Deepika ma'am.
Ma'am, Dr. Jyoti Mani Rock, ma'am, may I request you to put off your slide, please?
Yes, yes. Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Did it go? Yeah, yes.
Okay, over to you, Deepika ma'am now.
Yes, thank you, Ajay sir. So Jyoti, so it was a nice session on effective communication, and you communicated very effectively. Okay,
thank you.
So that was what we wanted, and the material, your PPTs were very impressive, and it shows that you have done a very nice and a lot of hard work has gone into it. Thanks for having such good PPTs today.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you for being with us and hope to have some more webinars from you. I would like to thank Ajay sir and Ade sir for giving us this golden opportunity after equal intervals of time so that we can communicate with each other on this virtual forum. And then I would like to thank the members who patiently put up with all of us. Even when they don't know, they just call us up and want to join the webinar. So thank you all the participants. Thank you all the participants who took part in the fastest finger first. You really were very fast. Thanks for other participants also who joined on the Facebook. I think everyone has got something to take away from this webinar, and thank you with a note that we will again meet soon. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. It was very nice to be with you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.